Namaste. We are going to see why India has been called a land of colors. Well, it is very visible that the land is very vibrant with a lot of colors, but there is also another inner reason why it is called a land of colors.
India has 6 seasons. Each season has its beauty. Each season has its color. India has a lot of festivals. For every reason, for every season, we have a festival. So it's actually Utsav India through the year, Utsav Bharat. This culture celebrates everything, every aspect of nature is celebrated with colors. We normally attribute colors to the festival of Holi. This festival has been played by the people of this land for many millennia from the times of Krishna himself. Beautiful festival, Holi. Like that, every festival of this land has its own colors. For example, when you celebrate Navratri in northern parts of India, there Saraswati is associated with the color yellow
And
because
this is during spring. This Navratri is the spring Navratri, which is called Basant Panchami or the season of Basant.
that is why you have the beautiful song and poem and festival called Rang De Basanti, where so Basant Panchami festival. Panchami is obviously fifth day of the moon. So Basant Panchami festival, the land is like a carpet of flowers, yellow flowers. That's why we show Ma Saraswati draped in a yellow sari beautifully. So that is the land of that color. Similarly, if you go to Uttarakhand in the spring months and later post the rainy season, the whole hills, the Shivalik range of hills, the Himalayan hills, are festive with different color flowers and colors, the beauty of the land. It's so wonderful to see. So it's called Valley of Flowers. Like that, every festival of India is full of colors. This is a land of colors. We have indigo blue, we got madder red, and every other color. Similarly, we have the turmeric yellow. So each is a beautiful color of this land.
We all know that there are three primary colors: blue, red, and yellow. We have already seen how India had held monopoly for the color blue, and the blue color dye itself gets its name from indigo from India. Similarly, we have also seen how the world was mad for the red dye called madder from India again. Now that leaves us with yellow. And if we will see this yellow, the source for this yellow dye, a natural yellow dye, is also something that the world is mad after. That is turmeric. Now, for India, the color indigo came from a plant which is called Neelam or Neeli. The color red comes from the root of the plant called Manjishta, and which is called the madder root. The color yellow fundamentally came from three varied sources. One, of course, is turmeric, which is again, it's a form of a root. The turmeric, which is in the form of a tuber. And this turmeric, actually, if you see all the sources of dyes, these natural dyes, they were not only sought after by Indians and they were not only cultivated for their dyeing, coloring property, but they were also having medicinal properties, which is why they were also used in Ayurveda and Siddha. Indigo has been used. Madder, Manjishta, is widely used both for its antibacterial property as well as for treating various diseases like asthma, skin diseases, and so
It's a
on.
herbicide.
And turmeric, we all know how it has got a lot of antibacterial properties and in tackling various other really dangerous diseases of the world today. In many of the diseases, they find that turmeric has potential to cure, and that is why there are many patents which are coming up in
Around
the
turmeric.
around turmeric.
Turmeric. And if you look at in Ayurveda, we have three angles to it: Vata, Kapha, Pitta. And the color for Pitta is yellow. You can see the bile juices, it's yellow. So again, you see it's in the dyeing area where for texture, for cloth, for organic dyes, for natural colors, for painting, you use this as well as in Ayurveda. See, both for our body and for the body of this earth. For both it is
This
used.
pitta, the color, the name for the color yellow, one you can see in the name given to bile juices, which is pitta. It is also the color that has draped Krishna. Krishna is associated, the color for Krishna, for his dress, for his clothes, is Pitambara. Pita for the color yellow. Ambara is for the dress, that which drapes. Ambara also means sky. That's because the sky also cloaks the earth. So Ambara is that which cloaks or drapes. So Pitambara, one who is draped in yellow.
Yellow clothes. So Pitambara. Similarly, you have people who wear white dress known as Shvetambara.
And those who don't wear anything are Digambara. Yellow, associated with Krishna from Mahabharata times, yellow clothes have been very popular. They've been known, they have been used for dyeing clothes and so on. So these three fundamental colors have been very popular. Now yellow, the other sources for yellow are one which is a flower that grows in the Himalayan slopes. Popularly in the West, it's called the larkspur, and in Indian languages, it is called isparak. And this has been one source of yellow. The other source of yellow has been the saffron flowers, which are called kesari in Indian languages. If you look at the saffron flowers, fundamentally they are purple in color. So where does the yellow come from? It comes from the stamens, the filaments there. So those are then picked out, dried, and then used not just for giving yellow colors for fabrics and other kinds of dyeing, but they have been used fundamentally as exquisite spices for flavoring and coloring food as well.
One of the famous sweets of India is kesari. Everybody likes the sweet kesari. It's consumed all over the land. For every festive season, you have kesari as a
It's
sweet.
also known as kshira in the north. In the south, it is called kesari.
And where you had this filaments, nice filaments of kesari in that, and it's a nice garnishing also. Apart from this, look at the name kesari. The name kesari has got multiple meanings. So this particular flower is a king among flowers. This particular spice is king among spices. So kesari also means king. Beautiful, isn't it? So Kesari Nandan. Hanuman is called Kesari Nandan because his father is the king of that particular land. He was Kesari. So Kesari Nandan. So that's why we see Hanuman always covered in the orange color, Kesari. Apart from that, when Lokmanya Balagangadhar Tilak started his paper to get across to people, he called it Kesari because he wanted to show bravery, strength. So he called it Kesari. And look at the lion, the king of the forest, the lion king. What do you call it? Kesari. Because that's so lion is called Kesari. Look at that. From India, this word Kesari has traveled to different parts of the world. And you find this wonderful connection between the Kesari in India for king and in German language, a king is called Kaiser. So an anointed king is Kaiser. And from there it goes to Dutch and thereon to the Scandinavian countries where it is called
Koenig. So in the Scandinavian tongue, king is called Koenig, and from that you get the English word king.
So we see how the word Kesari moves from here to Kaiser to Koenig and then to king and comes back to India. So see, it's a connect from flower to a color to a usage for a king. So these colors have their fragrances, they have their spread all over the land in different forms, in names as well as in usages, in fabric as well as in recipes, both for Ayurveda treatment and otherwise too.
Therefore, we see blue, red, and yellow were all available in abundance in India through natural organic sources, and therefore Indians have dabbled with colors and a mix of all of these to give the variety of colors that you can see in their art forms, in their textiles, in their paintings, and even their food, and so on and so forth. But in all of this, if you really look into it, the sources have been very disparate. Some have been from flowers, some have been from leaves. Indigo actually comes from the leaf, green leaf of the indigo plant. You get the blue dye. Not just blue, but shades of blue ranging from lightest sky blue to the blackest of black. All of this from a green leaf. Similarly, if you see yellow, they have got it in shades of yellow to orange, have come from the saffron plant, which bears purple flowers, but the saffron has come from its yellow orange filament, stamen. And if you look at madder, the red color, it has come from the roots of this plant, which are actually hidden to the eye. Therefore, you find that Indians over millennia have developed the expertise of understanding these plants, understanding which part of it produces the dye, a color, how it has to be extracted, how it has to be processed, how it has to be applied, on what can it be applied, and what other properties do these plants and these colors bear, such that they can also be used for
Ayurvedic cures.
Ayurveda as well as food flavoring. So they have actually shown mastery over all these plants, over the plant kingdom per se. And that is where the beauty of the colors of India lies.
That is why they have a expansive subject called Vriksha Ayurveda. Vriksha is for plants. The life of plants, it's not just growing them properly, not just treating them, but how to use each component of the plant so beautifully in different aspects of life. And that is actually one of the brands of India, the colors of this land, that using them appropriately in the right perspective, in the right season, in the right festival, in the right usage. That speaks volumes of the depth of this land, its culture, its kalachar, which is beautiful and filled with colors.
Now, sadly, the scene changed when, so until 1800s or so, the natural dyes from India were ruling the world. They were one of the most highly traded commodities from Bharat. But since the late 1800s and early 1900s, when Europe started synthesizing red from inorganic substances and they started synthesizing the blue, they no longer needed those plants which were local for regions such as India and around it. They did not need the labor that these regions had and that the production of such natural dyes need. So they could do away with the plants, they could do away with the labor because they now had the technique of producing these dyes synthetically from chemicals, and that did not need much labor, that could be produced through the year round, and with that was killed the skilled dyeing industry of India. So all the natural dye growing farmers, dye producers, the dyers who actually dyed the textiles, all of them, the entire industry around dyes died with this invention of synthetic dyes.
In the light, in sunlight, we see the color white. But actually, it's made up of 7 colors. The Vibgyor, okay,
Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red.
we call Vibgyor now. In our traditional system of India, if you look at the sun, the chariot of the sun is pulled by 7 horses. And each of these horses has a name and there's name associated with the color of the horse. So it brings out the 7 colors. So we knew while we can see the sunlight as white, we also knew that it had 7 distinct colors which we showed as a 7 horses and gave 7 names, distinct name for the horses which were attributes of that color. So we understood the different facets of color, the range of color, the prism of color, understood it and used it well through the civilization.
So sadly, the scene has shifted that instead of being a producer of natural dyes, India today is one of the largest producers of synthetic dyes, chemical paints, one of the largest consumers of chemical paints, all of which is toxic to both humans, animals, as well as the land, soil itself.
The water bodies, because all these toxic paints, all these toxic dyes, after they're used, what happens? They wash away into the soil and it permeates into the water bodies. So we are in a way using these toxic products which permeates into nature. So a day is not very far away when now we talk about organic food. It's going to soon we're going to speak about organic dyes because we see the effects of the excess of chemical usage in different parts in farming, in pesticide, in foods, and so on and so forth. So a day is not very far off that we're going to speak about once again the cycle, the Kala Chakra is going to come back to organic dyes. Then India must be aware of its strengths of making these wonderful organic dyes for many millennia and learn and keep its skill ready so that when the world is ready to go organic in food and dyes along with medicines, India is in the forefront to offer its skills once again and be a world leader in this field of colors as well, the colors of India.